Listen, I want you to pause whatever you're doing for just a moment, because what I'm about to tell you is something most men don't hear until it's far too late. You know that sudden, sinking feeling you get when a younger woman looks your way, then looks past you, that tiny sting in your chest, like you've been quietly judged and dismissed. I need you to stay with me, because that feeling is the doorway to one of the most powerful truths you'll ever learn about female psychology. And if you stick with me till the end, I'm going to reveal something most men never figure out about younger women. But once you do, everything about attraction starts shifting in your favor. Before we get deep, hit that subscribe button and like this video so you never miss the kind of insight most men will go their entire lives without understanding. Now, let's talk about what older men get wrong. You see, a lot of guys think younger women are simply attracted to youth, energy, looks, or that overly confident alpha attitude everyone online tries to imitate. But let me talk to you as a psychologist, and as a woman who has sat across from thousands of female clients. Younger women aren't looking for a boy. They're looking for a man whose presence calms the chaos inside them. And ironically, most older men don't realize they already have that raw advantage hidden inside their age, their life experience, their emotional stability, and their ability to read the room without trying too hard. But here's the tension, and I want you to feel this. Younger women can sense when an older man thinks he needs to compete with younger guys. The moment you try too hard, the moment you attempt to come down to her level to impress her, the attraction evaporates. It's like watching a king abandon his throne to beg for approval. You might not say the words out loud, but your energy tells her everything. I don't believe I'm enough, and trust me. Younger women hear that insecurity even when your mouth stays shut. What really pulls her in is the opposite. It's when you stand in yourself so solidly that she almost feels her heartbeat slow just by being near you. It's when you look at her, not with hunger, not with the desperation of a man who wants validation, but with the steady recognition of someone who knows who he is, knows what he's lived through, and knows his life doesn't start or end with her attention. That emotional gravity is rare among younger men. That's why even if she doesn't admit it, even if she pretends not to notice, even if she brushes past you casually, part of her is quietly scanning for the man who feels like a safe anchor in a chaotic world. And she can feel that in the first 30 seconds of meeting you. And that's exactly why older men who understand these psychological dynamics have a natural, almost unfair advantage if they learn how to use it the right way. You know what most men never realize? Younger women aren't drawn to older men because of money, status, or that tired stereotype the internet keeps recycling. Those things might catch attention, sure, but they don't create the kind of emotional pull that makes a younger woman choose an older man over every guy her age. What actually draws her in is something far quieter, something she feels before she even understands it. And this is the first powerful flirting trick older men use without even knowing they're doing it. Emotional pacing. Let me explain it to you the way I explain it to clients who sit across from me confused about why they're drawn to older men. Younger guys usually move too fast, too quickly into jokes, too quickly into physical compliments, too quickly into trying to impress. But an older man's energy, when he's grounded, has this calm, deliberate rhythm. He doesn't rush his words. He doesn't jump into her personal space. His presence feels like a warm, steady current instead of a chaotic splash of attention. And that pacing communicates one message that is unbelievably attractive. I don't need anything from you. When a younger woman senses that, something inside her tension unwinds. Suddenly she doesn't feel pressured to perform or impress. She feels seen, without being hunted. And here's the psychology behind it. Younger women often live in a world where they're constantly overstimulated. Messages, attention, noise, pressure, competition. So when she meets a man who slows her world down instead of speeding it up, her nervous system responds before her mind even catches up. She leans in without knowing why. And here's where the flirting becomes powerful. An older man doesn't try to dominate the moment. He guides it. He gives eye contact that's steady but not intrusive. He holds silence without panicking. He lets her finish her thoughts without jumping in to prove something. That restraint creates tension, not the chaotic kind, but the magnetic kind. The kind that makes her feel like you're observing her, not evaluating her. And trust me, younger women can feel the difference instantly. But there's something deeper here. Younger women are very sensitive to emotional safety cues. A man who rushes, brags, tries too hard, or pushes the interaction forward too quickly triggers her instinct to pull back. But when your energy says, "I'm in no hurry, I'm in control of myself, I'm enjoying the moment, not trying to win it," her guard drops. And ironically, that's the moment she starts becoming curious about you. Because curiosity isn't created through force. It's created through emotional contrast. And older men who understand this pace, this slow, grounded presence, create a contrast that younger guys simply can't imitate. Not naturally, not convincingly. And when she feels that contrast, suddenly, you are not just another man in the room. You become the man she wonders about afterward. There's a moment every younger woman experiences around a certain type of older man, and she often can't explain it, even to herself. It happens when he says something simple, something grounded, something unhurried, and she suddenly feels this subtle shift inside, like her mind becomes quieter for a second. That shift isn't an accident. It's the result of another powerful flirting strategy older men use, often without realizing it: controlled mystery. Now let me be clear. This isn't about pretending to be unavailable or playing some childish, hard-to-get game. Younger men try to do that, and it just comes across as insecure. Controlled mystery is different. It's the natural aura of a man who has lived enough life that he doesn't feel the need to explain himself, justify himself, or fill every silence with noise. When he talks, he doesn't overshare. When he listens, he actually listens. When he looks at her, he does it with a depth that suggests he's observing details she didn't even know she was giving away. Younger women aren't used to that. They're used to men who broadcast everything at once: feelings, intentions, insecurities, desires. But the older man with real presence, he reveals himself slowly, thoughtfully, selectively. And that creates something incredibly powerful in her mind: imagination. You see, a younger woman's attraction isn't just physical, it's psychological. It's fueled by curiosity. When she can't immediately figure you out, her mind stays active around you. She starts wondering what you've experienced, what shaped you, what made you confident enough to stay quiet when others would try to entertain or impress. And curiosity is one of the purest forms of attraction, not because you're hiding anything, but because you're not performing. Most men don't understand this. They think being mysterious means acting cold or distant. But real mystery is created through intention, not absence. It's in the way you choose your words instead of rambling, the way you reveal just enough about your life to intrigue her, without dumping your entire history in the first 10 minutes, the way you hold your boundaries calmly, without needing her approval. That quiet certainty, that's what draws her in. And here's the psychological reason behind this. Younger women often grow up surrounded by men who are emotionally chaotic, hot one moment, cold the next, oversharing today, disappearing tomorrow. When she meets a man who is consistent yet subtle, expressive yet measured, open yet private, it hits her nervous system differently. It feels stable, it feels adult, and that contrast makes you unforgettable. She won't say this out loud, but she notices the way you don't rush to fill silence. She notices the calm confidence in your posture. She notices the way you let connection unfold instead of forcing it. And whether she realizes it or not, that mystery creates a space where attraction can breathe, naturally deeply, without pressure. Because when a man becomes the quietest voice in the room, he often becomes the hardest one to ignore. Here's a truth most men refuse to admit. Younger women are deeply attracted to men who own their confidence without arrogance. But there's a subtle psychological nuance here that older men understand intuitively, and younger men rarely do. It's not just about self-assurance. It's about measured power paired with emotional calm. And this combination is magnetic. Think about it. Younger men often rely on flashy displays, money, clothes, social proof, even physical bravado. But those things aren't magnetic in the long run. They're momentary sparks. What holds attention, what makes a woman linger in your presence, is a man who doesn't need to prove himself. A man whose confidence isn't loud, but felt. Who walks into a room and doesn't look for validation, because he's already anchored in his own sense of worth. That energy, it's irresistible. But let me break down how this works psychologically. Women, especially younger women, are wired to detect energy that signals safety and capability. When an older man speaks slowly, makes deliberate choices, and doesn't chase approval, her subconscious interprets this as, he is someone who can handle life, handle stress, and handle me. Even if she doesn't consciously acknowledge it, she begins to respect you. Attraction often starts there, through respect. Here's where most men fail. They confuse arrogance with confidence. Arrogance screams, I'm superior. Confidence whispers, I know who I am. Arrogance pushes people away. Confidence draws them in. A younger woman may initially test you with subtle challenges, jokes, teasing, even playful pushback, to see if your confidence is real. The older man, who remains composed, who doesn't overreact or compete, demonstrates emotional mastery. That's a huge psychological pull because women instinctively gravitate toward men who stabilize, not destabilize. And there's an even deeper layer. Older men who master this dynamic know when to mirror her energy and when to maintain their calm. If she's animated, they can match her excitement without losing their grounded energy. If she's quiet or hesitant, they can lead gently, creating a sense of security that younger men rarely provide. That balance between presence and responsiveness is magnetic, even if it happens on a subconscious level. Finally, understand this. When younger women sense that a man's confidence isn't dependent on their attention, something shifts. She starts to seek your approval subtly, without even realizing it. The pull is psychological, not physical, and it's subtle. It's not about chasing or seducing in the obvious sense. It's about creating an invisible gravitational field where she can't help but be drawn toward you. This is why older men who cultivate calm, quiet confidence often dominate in dating without ever appearing desperate, flashy, or overbearing. It's a power that doesn't need to shout to be heard, and the women who notice it are the ones who can't get enough of it. There's a subtle behavior that older men use almost instinctively, and it's one of the most powerful ways to attract younger women without saying a word. I call it selective attention, and it works on a level most men can't even see. Younger women are constantly surrounded by men vying for their notice, likes, messages, compliments, attention that feels relentless. That creates noise in her mind, a constant pressure. And when an older man does something counterintuitive, something almost invisible, it breaks through that noise in a way younger men cannot replicate. Here's how it works. Instead of flooding her with attention, the older man gives attention deliberately, purposefully, and sparingly. Not out of manipulation, but because he understands its power. He notices the subtle things, the way she tilts her head when she's thinking, the sparkle in her eye when she's genuinely amused, the pause in her tone when she's testing a boundary. He comments, smiles, or responds in a way that acknowledges those small details. And here's the secret. When attention is scarce but genuine, it becomes almost intoxicating. Her mind lights up unconsciously because she's receiving validation on a level deeper than surface compliments. Most men give attention randomly, indiscriminately, without awareness. They praise physical appearance or say things they think she wants to hear. That's not attraction, it's noise. The older man with selective attention creates contrast. He is calm, consistent, and unpredictable in a subtle way. The brain of a younger woman starts to register this as special. It triggers curiosity and anticipation, emotions that are far stronger than any casual flirtation. And here's the psychology behind it. The human brain responds to scarcity and specificity. When you notice something about her that no one else seems to, your attention becomes valuable. The reward system in her brain lights up. She begins to associate your presence with feeling seen in a way that feels rare. And attraction, especially for younger women, often begins in the gap between what they expect and what they feel. There's also an emotional layer. Selective attention communicates emotional control. It tells her you are aware, focused, and capable of managing your energy. qualities that create both comfort and intrigue. She senses you don't need her to feel validated, yet you see her for exactly who she is. That paradox is magnetic. This is why older men often seem effortlessly attractive. They aren't loud, flashy, or frantic for attention. They create emotional tension by carefully choosing where to place it. And a younger woman, even if she's not consciously aware of it, will feel drawn in because she's been subtly invited into a space where she matters, without ever being chased. This isn't a trick. It's a natural outcome of maturity, emotional intelligence, and understanding how attraction actually works. And once you understand it, you begin to operate on a level that younger men simply can't compete with. Here's a truth that most men completely underestimate. Younger women are drawn not just to what a man says, but to how he makes them feel in their own skin. And older men, when they understand this, can create a subtle psychological effect that younger men often can't even imagine. I call it emotional resonance, and it's one of the most potent forms of attraction there is. Younger men often try to impress with words, jokes, or displays of status. But words fade, performances fade. What sticks is the emotional echo a man leaves behind. The older man who understands resonance doesn't chase validation. He creates moments where she feels alive, understood, and safe, all at once. It might be a glance that lingers just enough to make her heart skip, a comment that shows insight without preaching, or a touch that's confident but respectful. These aren't random actions. They are carefully calibrated expressions of presence. Psychologically, here's why this works. Women, especially younger women, are constantly scanning the room for emotional stability. They want a partner whose energy they can lean into, not bounce off of. Emotional resonance communicates that you are grounded, that you are fully present, and that your attention isn't something to be begged for. It's something she naturally attracts. That creates a subconscious pull that's incredibly hard to resist. But here's the nuance most men miss. It's not about being perfect or unshakable. It's about controlled depth. You show enough of your inner life to create intimacy, but you never overshare. You laugh, tease, or challenge her in ways that create an emotional dance. Moments that excite, intrigue, and disarm her simultaneously. That balance makes her experience of you feel like a private, rare connection. And there's another layer here. Younger women are naturally curious. They want to know who you are beneath the surface, what shaped you, what makes you tick. By creating emotional resonance, older men allow her curiosity to flourish without needing to manufacture drama. The attraction becomes less about her trying to win your attention and more about her wanting to explore who you are. That shift in dynamics is subtle but extremely powerful. Here's the kicker. Emotional resonance doesn't require wealth, looks, or flashy displays. It requires emotional intelligence, presence, and intention. Qualities older men have in abundance if they choose to cultivate them. And when she feels that resonance, she can't help but return to your energy, remember the way you made her feel, and even seek it out in your presence. This is the silent power older men wield. Younger men can try to imitate it, but they often lack the life experience and composure to make it authentic. And authenticity? That's what younger women sense immediately. That's what pulls them in quietly, deeply, almost unconsciously. Now, I want to reveal the final, most powerful truth about attracting younger women as an older man, a truth that changes everything if you truly understand it. It's not a trick, a line, or some gimmick you learned online. It's a principle so subtle yet so profound that it separates men who succeed effortlessly from men who struggle their entire lives. I call it the magnetism of self-possession. Most men chase attention, they seek approval, they try to control the outcome of every interaction, and younger women can sense it immediately. It's exhausting, unattractive, and predictable. But a man who is self-possessed, he moves through life with an internal compass that doesn't wobble based on who is watching or who might like him. His decisions, his presence, his energy, it all communicates one thing: I am complete, I am enough. And that, my friend, is magnetic. Here's why it works psychologically. Women are constantly scanning for stability, maturity, and emotional reliability. When they encounter a man who clearly operates from his own center, she instinctively feels safe, even if she's not aware of it. Safety doesn't just mean protection. It means she can be herself without testing, performing, or pretending. And when she can relax in your presence, attraction grows naturally, not because you pushed it, but because your energy invited it. Self-possession also allows older men to lead without forcing, to guide without controlling, and to influence without chasing. Younger men often try to dominate interactions, assuming that boldness alone equals attraction. But real influence is quiet. It's deliberate. It's the kind of energy that lets a younger woman feel like she's choosing to be with you, even as the subtle architecture of your presence is pulling her closer. That's the invisible art most men never learn. And here's something most men never realize. Self-possession isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about understanding your own value, recognizing your own emotional patterns, and refusing to outsource your confidence to someone else's attention. When you operate from that space, every glance, every word, every gesture carries weight without effort. That's why younger women often remember older men long after they part ways, sometimes more vividly than men their own age. Finally, understand this. The combination of emotional pacing, controlled mystery, calm confidence, selective attention, emotional resonance, and self-possession isn't theoretical. It's a blueprint that older men naturally possess if they consciously cultivate it. When you align all these elements, you create a gravitational pull that no younger man can replicate. It's quiet, it's subtle, and it's devastatingly effective. So, if you take one thing from this entire conversation, let it be this. Attraction isn't about chasing. It's about being fully yourself, intentionally, calmly, and with presence that speaks louder than words. Younger women aren't seeking perfection. They're seeking depth, stability, and a man who exists as a whole, complete being. And when you embody that, you become irresistible in ways most men can't even imagine.